Good morning, everyone, and welcome. We're just so glad that you've joined us in our virtual living room. I'm Jasmine White. I'm one of the members of the church we hope for. And earlier this year, before everything shut down, my family opened the doors to what we like to think of as our home. This home where we gathered together to connect, to laugh, and cry, to break bread and share food, and come to the table together to teach our children and to worship with one another in song, in word, and in communion. It was a beautiful and spirit-led time that I cherish and I miss so dearly. But as it says in a portion of Philippians 1:3-6 in the Message, there has never been the slightest doubt in my mind that the God who started this great work in you, in us, would keep at it and bring it to a flourishing finish on that very day Christ Jesus appears.
하나님께서 당신을 통해 메마른 땅에 샘물 나게 하시기를 가난한 영혼
For our light and momentary affliction is producing for us an eternal glory that is far beyond comparison.
Our usage of family language strengthens our experience of church as family. So if this were Chinese church, which it is in this moment, I would be addressing Miss Glendar as Glendar Popa. Popa is the Cantonese for maternal grandmother, but also a term for any woman elder in the community. And so I call her and treat her as if she were my grandmother. It doesn't matter that we're not related. And it's not that I treat her with love and respect only because I see my own grandmother represented in her. It's because I respect Glendar for the Glendar Popa that she is.
Now in English we sing.
And use your voice. Say something, do something.
I've experienced God present at the table with me, and one of the Mexicans, so like our family is just a lot of passion all the time. It is. Which means grandma and grandpa, and that like just broke through everything.
This church has been a refuge for our family, a sanctuary, a place where we feel seen and known and loved and celebrated. And as a marriage and family therapist, I know how valuable that is. This church is led by a group of people who care so deeply about their neighbors and those around them who are hurting, who are targeted, who are vulnerable. Leaders who don't use their platform to spout convincing cares followed by emptiness, but who use their whole selves, their minds, their voices, their positions of power, and their spheres of influence, and who most importantly, lay their bodies down for the sake of the gospel. They show up with relentless fervor and determination to love the Lord, their God, and to love their neighbors as themselves. To be a voice for the voiceless, to be a friend to the poor, to be sisters and brothers to the oppressed.
His love is a lens, and his love aligns us, and his love shows us where to walk the path of love. So this word justice doesn't have to be so big. It's God's love. God's love is steadfast. God's love is steady, and God's love is secure. And Micah is saying, this community, all y'all, Pastor Bobby was saying that, and we're going to use that phrase, all y'all, if you're from the South, all y'all, Micah is saying, all y'all, the community is not reflecting the character of God, and the character of God is love. The community must reflect the character of God, and it's based and rooted and grounded in love.
Pain, church, your pain this week is prophetic, which means it's also holy, which means you're holding the heart of God. And just as your pain is prophetic, so is your commitment to hold your neighbor's pain, to be near, to know, to name.
He broke it. And he said, "This is my body, broken for you."
Christ's blood poured out for you. Take it and drink.
Rest. Can we say to Andre, God
is
with
Daddy.
Andre.
Danos visión de tu amor y enamóranos de ti, oh Dios.
Keep your hands in God's hands, and you'll be just fine. Those were next to the last words that he said to me. Keep your hands in God's hands, and you'll be just fine.
Lately, it's been getting comfortable with open palm and just receiving, right?
Yeah, I love that.
If I can receive healing, if I can heal this long lineage of trauma and pain. And
it's like this where you're just going up, but you're not. It's just sort of that is what only thing that I can think of. It's just,
Yeah.
I'm just rising up, just bringing it up. I think of that.
Take your time with it a little bit. Watching together. Watch when everyone else gets hard. Find a moment. Breathe. Center. And extend.
Why of all of this is because we are kin. We belong to this kingdom. Like we discovered in examining these key words in this passage, justice is meant to be lived out together for the good of all.
When Jesus sat with his closest friends for the last time,
Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Pero año y medio.
You're ready? We're going to read a book called What Do You Do with an Idea? Now, this book...
Is it our problem that they've miscalculated when buying wine and inviting guests? My time has not arrived.
But she turned to the servants.
This church has made me feel welcome and loved. People were very supportive when I got baptized. I'm sure they'll be supportive when other people have special things in their lives.
And it's my joy to thank you. Thank you.
I just can't give up now. I come too far from where I started from.
And grace will lead us home. And grace will lead us home.
Vengo a postrarme, vengo a decir que eres mi Dios. De todo lo que soy, alabe al Señor con todo mi corazón.
Oh, come, be our light. Drive out the dark.
Though the fig tree does not bud, and there are no grapes on the vines. Though the olive crop fails, and the fields produce no food. Though there are no sheep in the pen, and no cattle in the stalls. Yet,
through the night of suffering.
yet.
We're going to say, I have seen the Lord. I have seen his glory, full of grace and truth. And I pray that as you go into the verbs of Jesus, as you go into the Gospel of John, my invitation to you is that you would highlight the verbs so that we can see not only his words, but what he is doing, so that we can see Jesus through the verbs. I think that's where there is light and there is life.
Together, but I tried to capture the soul of everything that we have written, and this is what we've come up with. So, existing in the space between, where goodness is found within engaged liminality, bearing truth crowned and coiled with glory, fearless as we bask in togetherness, a culture, a people, una familia who does not look away, architects of joy and purpose through word, anointed hands for God's glory. And sometimes it seems we are safer in our dreams. Our glow is repurposed from this shattered world, yet we still choose to climb the mountain of the God of the angel armies, where little black girls are dancing in freedom. We are called by our righteous and holy names, with crowns on afros that refuse to lay. Our humanity shines through the tears in our eyes. We speak in tongues crafted by a mystery that knows our language. The hands that crafted our luminescence has cornrowed and woven heavenliness within us. Our bodies remember and insist on being, running up this never-ending mountain. With exhaustion in our lungs and the ache in our bones, we follow the voice that means what it says, the one that calls us children of the Exodus, demanding justice and